Okay, we'll start now. See, since last class, I got suggestions from a few students that instead of taking all the topics, why I don't take some difficult, unusual topics, and also the subtopics concerning PYQs, because for certain topics, a number of uh, PYQs are there concerning to only few subtopics. So from this class onwards, I will be doing that. So what I'm going to do today is, but before that, I just want to tell all the students, particularly for new students, usually Western philosophy in paper one is considered little tougher because that is quite unknown territory. Or in Western philosophy also, if you see modern Western philosophy, right from logical positivism, existentialism, phenomenology, then we have a few other philosophers. All these are little more unique and different and considered to be quite difficult. These are smaller chapters also. So usually students do not concentrate on these chapters. But once you understand, these will be quite easy to attempt. And every year, as you know, questions come from all the topics. No topic is left. So particularly modern Western philosophy also has questions. Definitely 20 to 30 marks question will be there. Sometimes even 40 marks questions will be there. At least one short question, one long question will be there. So uh, my point is that if you spend little time on that, understand that, that also will be quite easy to practice and write in the exam. So accordingly, today I have selected one of the important topics from modern Western philosophy, that is existentialism. Now, existentialism is basically one of the very, very important modern Western philosophy topic. Usually, questions from 15 to 20 marks definitely come from that, because there are three philosophers we have to study in that mainly. What I will do is I will try to explain existentialism in very simple terms, and then we will identify those subtopics in existentialism from which usually questions are asked, repeatedly asked. And maybe in this class, if we have time, or in next classes, we will try to cover those topics also. So maybe in this and another one or two classes, we will try to cover all the important subtopics of existentialism also, subtopics also. So now let us start with that, with this introduction, because the our coverage will be now particularly existentialism I will cover now. Subsequently, we will take up uh, other topics also of modern Western philosophy. So maybe in next 4 or 5 classes, we will try to cover important topics, and then we'll move to other uh, uh, areas of other subjects also, so that uh, other topics also, so that other paper, other parts of the paper also, so that we can cover others also. Existentialism, as you know, traditionally Western philosophy starts from Aristotle, then comes modern philosophy itself, because from Descartes rationalism, modern philosophy starts basically. So rationalism, empiricism, then we have Kant, then Hegel. So all these are basically very, very established kind of philosophers. After that, after Hegel, basically the philosophy comes, which is you can say 19th and 20th century philosophy of modern philosophy. So existentialism is particularly one of that philosophies, and this is a very, very different kind of philosophy also. It's not like idealism, it's not like rationalism, it's not like empiricism. This is totally different. And the main focus of this philosophy is basically the human being, individual himself. The existence of the individual is the main focus. So basically, this is different in a very, because other philosophies, they put God or word or soul or something else at the central focus. Here, individual will be the central focus. So this is basically a reaction to basically you can say naturalism or idealism, and therefore this philosophy basically movement started. So this way, I mean, individual human being is at the center. Uh, Unlike other philosophies which focus universe, God, or abstract systems, here the main questions asked in existentialism, if you see, who am I? What should I do? How should I live? What gives meaning to my life? These are the questions. Basically, the central focus will be individual, and therefore the questions will be asked. So it studies the lived experience of the person, his freedom, his choices, his anxiety, his mistakes, his search of meaning. So all these, this section of philosophy studies basically, and this is in no other topic of philosophy where centrally this is studied. Now, why it emerged basically? Now let us try to understand why it emerged. I mean, what is basically genesis of existentialism? See, as I told, this is a reaction against two older traditions. What are the older traditions? First is naturalism, that is science plus mechanism. Now, what naturalism says? Human beings are only physical matter. All actions follow biological or mechanical laws. Therefore, freedom is an illusion. So, this is what naturalism. Now, existentialism, on the contrast, argues that naturalism cannot explain the guilt, responsibility, choice, anxiety, meaning, etc., because machines do not have all these things. So, therefore, this is different. So, no machine feels guilt or asks why I am here. So this is different between, I mean, you can say naturalism, which is basically science also. Now, this is a reaction to idealism also. Idealism, as you know, Plato was original. Then Hegel also absolute idealism of Hegel. Idealism sees individual very small constituent of his whole system, because there the absolute is the bigger consideration. So for an idealist, individual freedom becomes secondary. Now Kierkegaard, who is one of the important, I mean, he's called father of basically existentialism. He said idealism kills individuality by reducing it to a concept. So what is existential response against idealism? Both naturalism, idealism ignore living human being, which is the central focus of existentialism. Existentialism restores the importance of individual freedom, then subjective experience, then personal responsibility. So, I mean, basically, this is the genesis of existence. Because if we keep this in mind, perhaps we will be able to understand the further concepts of existentialism in a better manner. Now, second sub-point which we want to discuss is, what is the central idea of existentialism? This I am discussing in brief, because anyway I have told you that a number of subtopics of existentialism I will be taking up, I mean, which relate to repeated PYQs. So here you have to understand basic idea, or in brief idea, because otherwise you can read the books also. I mean, just to give elaborate idea, but this is, I mean, in brief I am explaining, so that also you should understand. So what is central idea of existentialism? The idea is existence precedes essence. Now this is just opposite the traditional view. What is traditional view? Traditional view is essence precedes existence. So there are basically two things. One says essence precedes, another says existence precedes. Now, essence precedes existence. This is basically advocated by mostly idealists, for example, Plato, even Aristotle. What does it mean? God or absolute has a blueprint for human nature, and we are born to fulfill that plan. So essence comes first, and then comes human existence. Now, what is existentialist view, which is mainly in the words of Sartre, because he is one of the key existentialist, and he is an atheist existentialist. Basically, existentialist is also, there are a number of streams, you can say. Some are theistic, some are atheistic. So Sartre is one of the important, and he is atheist. He doesn't believe in God, basically. So he says humans first exist, then create their essence through choices. There is no God who designed us. No fixed human nature is there. So now you see, I mean, the essence precedes existence, and existence precedes essence. There are two different things. And existentialist view is existence precedes essence. First, human being exists, and then subsequently, essence follows. So, what does it mean? We are not born good or bad. We become good or bad by what we choose. Sartre, again, in his words, man is what he makes of himself. So this is what Sartre has said. Now, there are some key themes or key terminology or key words used or terms used in existentialism. So let us try to understand those key themes also. So one is freedom. Now, freedom means human beings have always choices, even in limited situations. So this is the main concept, a basic concept of existentialism, that human beings do have freedom, always, whether it is limited, whether it is unlimited, but they have freedom. They have choices. They can choose between one alternative and another alternative. Second is responsibility. If we choose our actions, then we must accept their consequences. We must be responsible for the actions also. This is again another uh, sub theme of, or a key theme of existentialism, that once you are free to choose, if you choose something, then you are responsible also for the actions or consequences. Third is authenticity. What is authenticity? Living according to one's own chosen values. So this is authenticity, rather than blindly following the society. So this is very simple. If somebody's life is authentic or authenticity, it means he is living as per his own chosen values or plan or alternate. Then another is subjectivity. Personal experience is more real than abstract theory. Subjective experience, one's own experience is more important here. Then another is anxiety or anguish. So what existentialism says, if there is a freedom and there is responsibility, this results in anxiety also. Freedom is beautiful, but it includes anxiety and anguish also. Next is absurdity. The word has no ready-made meaning. We must create meaning ourselves. Otherwise, I mean, the meaning will be absurd. Now, who are the major thinkers? Next point in this is, who are the major thinkers? And as I told, three main thinkers are included in the syllabus, so that we will try to see what in briefly what they, what is their thinking, what is their thought also. See, first is Søren Kierkegaard. He is, as I told, considered as father of existentialism. He is one of the important 19th century philosopher. And his existentialism is theistic existentialism. As I told, some are theistic, some are non-theistic. So he is theistic. Now, in his philosophy, the keywords which have been used, I have listed here. So this anyway we'll try to understand subsequently. What are his main ideas? First is, truth is subjectivity. So as earlier also told, one has to subjectively experience. So important truths, for example, faith, ethics, love, etc., cannot be proved scientifically. They must be lived. They must be, I mean, subjectively lived, basically. So that's what his main idea is. Then he also lists stages of life also. One is aesthetic stage, where he says uh, pleasure or entertainment is, I mean, the choice of the individual, but it leads to boredom. Then second is ethical stage, where he says in ethical stage, what one chooses, duty, moral values. But here also, I mean, the result is limited. Third is religious stage. So where what it happens, inward leap of faith, and here one gets true fulfillment. So if you say in gradation, for Kierkegaard, a religious stage is the highest stage. One can choose and one can get true fulfillment or fullest development of his personality also. Then another is leap of faith. So for Kierkegaard, faith is more important than reason. That's what he wants to say here. So what he says, because there is another topic, reason versus faith also, if you see in philosophy of religion, that also is there. So he's one of the important philosophers there also. So he says reason cannot reach God. Faith requires risk, uncertainty, and passion. And through faith only one can reach. That's what his thinking is. So even though faith requires risk, uncertainty, and passion, but that is the only way to reach God if it is possible. Then another important key idea is choice creates the self. We become the person we choose to be. So as you see, here are three different stages of life, three different choices are there. So what he says, choice creates the self. We become the person we choose to be. So whatever, we may choose aesthetic stage for pleasure, and we may choose religious stage. So that's what is there. Now, his influence of Kierkegaard, because as he is rightly called father of existentialism, so his influence was on Sartre himself, then Heidegger, then Jaspers and Marshalls, then existential psychology also. So all these subsequent existentialists were influenced by his thinking. Now, next important, which is in our syllabus, is Jean-Paul Sartre. He is basically a 20th century philosopher, and he propagates atheistic existentialism, which is, if you see, Kierkegaard's is theistic existentialism. His is atheistic existentialism. He doesn't believe in God. So now let us see what are his central ideas. Now, his main works, there are two works I've quoted, Being and Nothingness, and Existentialism is a Humanism. Now, his main ideas is, first is, existence precedes essence. Now, this is the central idea of whole existentialist philosophy also. So, existence precedes essence. Earlier also we have seen. So, he says there is no God and there is no fixed human nature. One has to exist and one has to make his own, basically, life. Whatever he chooses to. Then second is nothingness. Human consciousness is empty. This emptiness allows freedom and possibility. So one is free to choose basically. Then third is man is condemned to be free. This is another important statement given by Sartre. This also comes sometimes for exam. So this also we should be aware. For example, existence precedes essence comes, man is condemned to be free comes. So freedom, what he says is freedom is unavoidable. Even not choosing is also a choice. If somebody, let us say, says that I will not choose anything, for Sartre, that is also a choice. So one is condemned to be free. That's what it means. Then bad faith, lying to oneself to avoid responsibility. So this is bad faith as per Sartre. That you are lying, you are avoiding responsibility. So therefore you are falling in bad faith. And one important example also he gives of the hotel waiter who behaves as though he is only a waiter. People who blame society, fate, astrology, etc., they fall in bad faith. That's what Sartre says. Then authenticity, this earlier also we have seen in Kierkegaard's position. Now authenticity for Sartre also is basically accepting freedom, making choices, taking responsibility. This is authentic life. This is authenticity. Then another important term which he has used is being for others. When others look at me, I feel objectified. So this creates shame, conflict, or self-consciousness. So being for others, being for oneself. So this is again a matter of choice, and this is a term used by Sartre. Now, third important philosopher of existentialism, which is in our syllabus, syllabus of UPSC, is Martin Heidegger. He is called also phenomenological existentialism because subsequently then phenomenology also came up. Now, his main work is being and time. Now, what are his main ideas? He has given a concept of dasein, that is being there. Human existence is, I mean, it means actually being there, and it means, if you translate in simple words, it means human existence. This is German word basically. Unique because it can question its own being. Human existence is unique because it can question its own being, and this is what he means by Dasein. Then second concept he floats is being in the world. Humans are not detached observers. We exist inside relationships, work, culture, language, etc. Then another important concept, thrownness. We are born into conditions we did not choose. Obviously, the society, the family, the era, or the body, or the physical appearance, or genetic appearance. So all these things is not chosen basically. So this is again, you are thrown in the world, basically thrownness. Then another is care. Everything we do is motivated by care or concern, involvement, responsibility. Then another concept, temporality. We are time bound. Uh, Basically, we are worried about past. We are living in present and future. So accordingly, I mean, we are basically more concerned about the time. Then another is anxiety or angst, reveals that life has no fixed meaning and forces us to face freedom. And as you know, freedom plus responsibility, earlier we have told, freedom plus responsibility leads to anxiety. Then authentic versus inauthentic life. This also we have discussed earlier. Authentic means owning one's own choices, living as per your own choices. Inauthentic means blindly following the society and living as per the dictates of others or choices of others. Now, what is the social and political value of existentialism or outlook of existentialism? Now, let us try to understand that also, just to a little more understand this concept. Now, existentialists defend human dignity. This is very, very important. On individual responsibility. Then they also resist to totalitarianism because, as you know, idealism, Hegel's idealism inspired totalitarian regimes, and this is against that. Then critical thinking, then personal meaning in modern bureaucratic technological society. All these are positive points of existentialism. They oppose also mass culture, blind obedience, dehumanizing institutions, uh, scientism, and that reduces humans to numbers. So all these are positive points of existentialism because they give primacy or central. They make human individual as central person. So existentialism greatly influenced modern literature also, psychology also, theology, and political thought also. So if you see, after 19th and 20th century, I mean, or in 20th century itself, a number of uh, basically philosophers were inspired by existentialism. But it has certain negative points also. So now let us try to understand what are those negative points in brief. First is Adorno, one of the modern philosophers. He says that it is too subjective a philosophy, and he describes it. It focuses too much on the individual and ignores society. So this is first important criticism of existentialism. Second, it exaggerates freedom. Now, these are again modern philosophers, Merleau-Ponty, Marcuse, etc. They say that it fails to consider social, cultural, and economic limitations, exaggerating individual freedom. So, this is a second important criticism. Third, it encourages moral relativism. So, because everybody has its own choice, so if everyone chooses their own values, morality becomes unstable because there have to be universal values for morality to be stable. So it encourages moral relativism, not moral absolutism or moral universalism. So relativism is opposite of absolutism or universalism. So I mean it goes against morality or universal moral values. Then it's overly emotional. Logical positivists like Iyer and Ryle have criticized it as overtly emotional. It accuses of being unscientific, obscure, and literary. Then Heidegger's abstraction, because for him, language becomes mystical and vague. So philosophy itself becomes mystical and vague for Heidegger. So this is criticism by Rorty. Now, despite all this criticism, why it matters today? This is also very important, because what is its importance basically? Let us try to understand that. Because it helps us understand identity crisis, its search for meaning, mental health issues, anxiety, alienation, etc., the need for authentic life choices, responsibility in a world full of options, ethics without rigid dogmas. So all these are very, very critical for modern world and important, which you can say is positive influence of existentialism or importance of existentialism. So this is what is there. So I mean, basically, this was the brief of existentialism. Now, in my first class itself, I showed that I have analyzed last 12 years of question papers and arrived at important topics and subtopics in different topics. So in existentialism also, I have arrived at a number of subtopics, which, as I told in the beginning itself, I will be discussing maybe subsequently. So what are those subtopics which we will be discussing? I mean, because this is very, very important chapter. But once I go to those subtopics, perhaps you will try to, we'll try to explain a little more detail, because this is a very brief kind of thing, but this also covers the existentialism in a, total scope. So see, these are the important topics as per repeated PYQs, and this I call it focused study these are important for focused studies. So first is the concept of uh, Dasein in metaphysics. Then second, Kierkegaard's concept of choices, or Sartre's distinction between being for itself and being in itself. Then Søren Kierkegaard's one statement is there: the function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of one who prays. Then another, I am responsible for myself and for everyone else. This is a statement from Sartre. Then man is condemned to be free. This is also from Sartre only. Then view of Spinoza and Sartre on freedom. Then existence precedes essence. This is again Jean-Paul Sartre's view. Then Sartre's notion of nothingness. So basically all three philosophers, Sartre, Kierkegaard and Heidegger, all these three philosophers we have to study. So this 9 topics I have selected after going through obviously the syllabus and more importantly the question papers of last 12 years, because these topics have been repeatedly asked, and I'm not dealing with specific questions here, because the questions can be asked in different forms also. So if you only if you try to deal with specific questions, perhaps you will not understand the whole topics. So what I'm going to do is I will take up these 9 subtopics in subsequent classes, and we'll try to discuss maybe uh, in along with critical evaluation also, along with criticism also, because these topics will be first we will go with exposition, then same format, which is the answers format: introduction, exposition, then critical evaluation, and then finally conclusion. So in that format we will try to discuss these 9 topics. Maybe in one class, we will try to complete it. So then existentialism will be in a way complete in total clarity. So I hope these kind of attempts and these classes are useful to the students. Thanks a lot for watching the today's class and participating in it. We'll meet again in next class. Thank you.